Do you live with the widespread pain and soul-crushing fatigue of fibromyalgia? Do you drag yourself to bed completely exhausted only to wake up feeling like you haven't slept a wink? You are not alone. And it's definitely not just in your head. Millions of people are trapped in this vicious cycle where your sleep is destroyed and the lack of sleep turns up the volume of your pain. But what if the key to finally breaking this cycle isn't just about managing the pain, but about understanding and treating a hidden sleep disorder that's been running the show? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most misunderstood and agonizing parts of fibromyalgia. We're going to explore the work of leading researchers who figured out how broken sleep is actively fueling your pain. And more importantly, we'll reveal what you can do to start getting the deep, restorative rest your body is screaming for. This isn't about just coping, it's about understanding the engine of your condition so you can start to dismantle it piece by painful piece. Stick with me because what we're about to cover could be the missing piece of the puzzle in your journey toward a life with less pain and more energy. Imagine your nervous system is a high-tech home security system. It's built to alert you to danger, a scraped knee, a hot surface, an injury. In most people, the system is calibrated perfectly. It sends an alert, you deal with it, and the system quiets back down. Now imagine that same security system has gone haywire. The sensitivity dials are cranked up to 11. A leaf blowing past the window is treated like a shattered pane of glass. The mail carrier dropping off a package sounds like a battering ram at the front door. Every tiny event triggers a full-blown code red alarm that blares for hours on end. This is the daily reality of fibromyalgia. It's not a condition of imagination, it's a condition of profound neurological dysregulation. And the most agonizing part, the one you're supposed to find refuge, the sanctuary of sleep, has been compromised. The very process that should be resetting and repairing your hyperactive system is being sabotaged from within, making tomorrow's pain not just likely, but practically guaranteed. And now what we're discovering is that this sleep disruption isn't just a side effect of pain, it's a core driver of the entire condition. Before we get to the sleep connection, we have to talk about the daily battle that is fibromyalgia. If you're living with this, you know it's so much more than just being in pain. It's a life-altering condition with a whole constellation of symptoms. The headliner, of course, is that chronic, widespread pain. This isn't the simple ache of a pulled muscle. It's a deep, persistent, often migrating pain in your muscles and connective tissues. People describe it in 1,000 ways, from burning, throbbing, stabbing, or just feeling like you have a full-body flu that never ends. It's the kind of pain that can make the touch of your own clothing or a gentle hug feel unbearable. There's a name for this: allodynia, feeling pain from something that shouldn't hurt at all. Then there's the fatigue. This isn't your garden variety tiredness after a long day. It's a bone-deep exhaustion that sleep just doesn't fix. It's like your personal battery is perpetually stuck at 10%, no matter how long you try to charge it. This kind of fatigue makes simple things like taking a shower or having a conversation feel like climbing a mountain. And we can't forget the fibrofog. It's a type of cognitive dysfunction that clouds your mind, making it hard to concentrate, causing memory lapses, and leaving you grasping for the right words. It can be incredibly frustrating and even frightening, impacting your work, your relationships, and your confidence. For decades, because nothing showed up on an X-ray or a standard blood test, patients were often told their symptoms weren't real. They were dismissed and left to suffer in silence. But science has finally caught up, confirming what millions have known all along. Fibromyalgia is a very real, very physical disorder of the central nervous system. The leading theory is a process called central sensitization. Think back to our security system analogy. Central sensitization is when your nervous system, your brain and spinal cord, gets stuck in a state of high alert. The volume dial for pain is turned all the way up and the knob has broken off. It's not a problem with the tissues themselves, it's a problem with how the brain processes signals from the body. This state is driven by an imbalance of neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers, In people with fibromyalgia, multiple studies have found significantly elevated levels of excitatory neurotransmitters like substance P and glutamate. These are the accelerators for pain signals. In fact, a foundational 1994 study in arthritis and rheumatism found that substance P can be 3 times higher in the spinal fluid of fibromyalgia patients than in healthy individuals, effectively amplifying every pain message sent to the brain. At the same time, there's a shortage of inhibitory neurotransmitters like serotonin and norepinephrine. These are the brain's brakes. They're supposed to step in and quiet down pain signals as part of the pathway called the descending inhibitory control. When you don't have enough of these braking chemicals, the pain signals just keep firing, unchecked and amplified. Dopamine is also one of these neurotransmitters that seems to be at a lower level. So let's be crystal clear. The pain you feel is not in your head. It's the result of a real neurochemical imbalance that has created a hypervigilant nervous system. Now imagine taking this already sensitized, exhausted system and robbing it of its only chance to repair and reset, night after night. This is where the true viciousness of the cycle begins. One of the most maddening things you can hear from people with fibromyalgia is this: I can sleep for 8, 9, even 10 hours and still wake up feeling like I've been hit by a truck. That single experience is the key to this whole puzzle. It tells us the problem isn't just the amount of sleep you're getting, but the quality of that sleep. In a word, it's non-restorative for those with fibromyalgia. So what's going wrong? In healthy sleep, your brain cycles through different stages, from light sleep into deep sleep and then into REM sleep. But the most important stage for this conversation is the deep, physically restorative sleep known as slow wave sleep. Think of slow wave sleep as your body's overnight repair crew. This is when your brain waves slow way down, your muscles relax, and your body gets to work. Then it's when growth hormone is released to repair tissues. It's when your immune system regroups. And critically, it's when your brain helps regulate pain sensitivity for the next day. Here's the crux of the problem. People with fibromyalgia are being systematically robbed of this deep sleep. In a pioneering 1975 study, Dr. Harvey Moldavsky and his colleagues discovered a bizarre anomaly in the brain waves of fibromyalgia patients. It's called the alpha EEG non-REM sleep anomaly, or alpha delta sleep. Let's break that down. Deep restorative sleep is defined by slow brain waves called delta waves. Alpha waves, on the other hand, are the faster brain waves you have when you're awake but relax. What Dr. Moldavsky's study recorded on EEG was shocking. Just as the brain of a fibromyalgia patient tried to enter that deep delta wave sleep, there was a sudden intrusion of these wakeful alpha waves. Imagine you're finally drifting off in a pitch black, silent room, and someone starts flicking the lights on and off and whispering your name. You might not fully wake up, but you sure aren't getting deep rest. That's exactly what the alpha wave intrusion does to your brain. It's like a flickering light in a dark room, constantly yanking your brain out of its most restorative sleep. The consequences are catastrophic for a body already in pain. Without enough slow wave sleep, the overnight repair crew never gets to clock in. Muscle microtraumas from the day before aren't repaired, leading to that profound morning stiffness and pain. And your brain's own pain-regulating systems don't get reset. You'll go to bed with a sensitized central nervous system, and because you're deprived of the very sleep stage designed to calm that system down, you wake up with a nervous system that is even more sensitive. The fatigue is overwhelming because your brain has basically been in a state of agitated wakefulness all night long. This isn't just a feeling, it's a measurable physiological event that shows up clearly on a sleep study. This discovery was a landmark because it provided the first objective proof linking a sleep disorder directly to fibromyalgia symptoms. It proved that non-restorative sleep wasn't just a consequence of the pain, it was an active process starting the pain and making the pain and illness worse. The very system designed to heal you is being hijacked to harm you. But the story gets even darker. The latest research shows this broken sleep isn't just failing to repair the damage, it's actively manufacturing more pain. The vicious cycle, how poor sleep actively creates pain. So we've got a hypersensitive nervous system and a sleep anomaly that prevents the body from repairing itself. For a long time, we thought that was the whole story: pain making it hard to sleep, and bad sleep making the pain feel worse. A terrible feedback loop for sure. But groundbreaking research has revealed a far more direct and sinister connection. Fragmented sleep doesn't just fail to make you feel better, it actively generates more pain. The key to this discovery lies in a process called diffuse noxious inhibitory controls, also known as DNIC. You can think of DNIC as your brain's built in pain dimmer switch. Its job is to suppress and regulate pain signals in a healthy person. You can actually use one sensation to dull another. It's a principle behind rubbing a bumped elbow. The sensation of rubbing sends a competing signal that tells the brainstem to activate the descending noxious inhibitory controls and turn down the volume on the original injury. It's a brilliant system for keeping pain in check. Here's the bombshell. Studies have shown that sleep fragmentation absolutely wrecks the function of the descending noxious inhibitory controls. When your sleep is constantly interrupted by these microarousals we talked about, your brain's ability to inhibit pain is severely impaired. The pain dimmer switch breaks. It gets stuck in the off position. What does this mean for you? It means that after a night of bad sleep, your brain has lost one of its main tools for managing pain. Your baseline pain volume is already high, and now the mechanism that should be turning it down is offline. This leads directly to two of the most hellish symptoms of fibromyalgia. Number one is hyperalgesia. This is when something that's a little bit painful feels excruciatingly painful. A small bump that might be a 3 on the pain scale for someone else suddenly feels like a 9. Your brain's amplifier is on full blast and the dimmer switch is broken. And then there's allodynia. This is when things that shouldn't hurt at all become agonizing. The weight of a blanket, the fabric of your shirt, a gentle touch from a loved one can all trigger a genuine pain response because your nervous system has lost its ability to filter sensory information. This isn't just a theory. In stunning studies like the one Dr. Moldavsky conducted back in 1975 and others since, researchers have taken healthy volunteers and systematically disrupted their deep sleep. After just a few nights of inducing the same alpha-delta pattern seen in fibromyalgia patients, these perfectly healthy people begin to develop widespread muscle tenderness and lower pain thresholds. They start to show the physical signs of fibromyalgia induced only by poor sleep. When their sleep is allowed to normalize, the symptoms go away. This is powerful proof that sleep fragmentation isn't just correlated with fibromyalgia pain, it's a direct cause. For years, the big question was the chicken and egg scenario. Which comes first, the pain or the poor sleep? Recent studies that track patients day to day have finally given us an answer. While a day of high pain can have a negative effect on the night's sleep, multiple daily diary studies have found that a night of poor sleep is a significantly stronger predictor of the intensity of the next day's pain. Let that sink in. Because it's the most empowering finding in modern fibromyalgia research, poor sleep is a bigger driver of next day pain than pain is of poor sleep. This changes everything. It means that while you might not be able to just will the pain away during a flare, you can target the single biggest factor that's fueling it, your sleep. Transform from a passive casualty of the condition into the primary battleground. It gives us a target. It gives us a lever. Breaking the vicious cycle is no longer a vague hope. It's a strategic mission. To manage the pain, you have to fix the sleep. Understanding this devastating cycle can feel pretty disheartening. It can feel like being trapped in a prison with no doors. But here is the hopeful part we promise. Because we understand the mechanism, we have a clear and powerful target. By focusing our energy on restoring sleep quality, we can take the fuel away from the fire. We can start to dismantle the cycle. This isn't a simple one-size-fits-all fix. It's going to take a multi-pronged approach. But prioritizing deep, restorative sleep is the most potent strategy there is. The solutions fall into two main groups: foundational lifestyle strategies and supportive medical treatments. And before we go any further, a critical disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. You must talk about any treatment strategy with a qualified doctor who understands fibromyalgia and create a plan that's right for you. The foundation, non-pharmacological strategies. These strategies are the bedrock of any long-term management plan. They are about retraining your brain and body, and this is where the most lasting change happens. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. This is the gold standard, first-line treatment for chronic insomnia, and it's incredibly effective for fibromyalgia. Don't confuse this with simple sleep hygiene tips. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia is a structured program that fundamentally rewires a relationship with sleep. Key parts include stimulus control. This is about reassociating your bed with sleep and only sleep. It means you get out of bed if you can't sleep, so your brain stops seeing your bed as a place for worry and frustration. Then there's sleep restriction. This sounds pretty scary, but it's powerful. You temporarily limit your time in bed to the hours you're actually sleeping. This builds up a strong natural sleep drive, making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. As your sleep becomes more solid and efficient, you gradually extend your time in bed. And next is cognitive restructuring. This helps you identify and challenge the anxious thoughts about sleep. Like, if I don't get enough sleep tonight, tomorrow will be a total disaster. It helps you reframe these thoughts and dial down the anxiety that sabotages sleep. For fibromyalgia patients, multiple randomized controlled trials show cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia doesn't just improve sleep, but also leads to real reductions in pain, fatigue, and depression. And then there's the right kind of movement. The idea of exercise when you're exhausted and in pain can sound like a cruel joke, and it's true that overdoing it can trigger a flare. But doing nothing at all makes the pain and stiffness even worse. The key is finding the right type and intensity of movement. Aquatic exercise. This is often the number one recommendation. The buoyancy of water supports your body, taking stress off painful joints, while the gentle resistance helps build strength. Warm water pools are especially fantastic for easing stiff muscles. Then there's gentle aerobics. Things like walking, stationary cycling, or using an elliptical at a low, consistent intensity have been shown to improve sleep, reduce pain, and boost mood. The mantra is start low and go slow. And then next is mind-body practices like Tai Chi, Qigong, and gentle yoga combine slow movement, stretching, and mindfulness. These are brilliant for calming the nervous system, which is crucial for sleep. And then there's therapeutic bathing. This strategy has real science behind it. Taking a warm bath around 97 to 100 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes before bed can significantly improve sleep quality. The rise in body temperature followed by the gradual cool down after you get out mimics a natural temperature drop that signals to your brain that it's sleepy time. This can help you fall asleep faster and increase that precious slow wave sleep. But you have to also check for other sleep saboteurs. Fibromyalgia often coexists with other primary sleep disorders that make everything worse. The two most common culprits are restless leg syndrome, an overwhelming urge to move your legs, usually at night. And then there's sleep apnea, a condition where you repeatedly stop breathing during your sleep. Both of these conditions fragment sleep and will undermine all your other efforts. If you have symptoms of either, like that nightly urge to move your legs, or if a partner says you snore loudly or gasp for air, it is absolutely essential to get evaluated by your doctor. Treating these can have a massive and immediate impact on your fibromyalgia symptoms. And there is a support system, pharmacological strategies. For some people, especially at the beginning, lifestyle changes alone aren't enough to break the cycle. Medication can be a vital support, helping to nudge the brain into a more restorative sleep pattern so that other therapies can take hold. Again, talk to your doctor about these options. Low-dose tricyclic compounds such as amitriptyline, nortriptyline, and cyclobenzaprine. These are some of the most studied medications for fibromyalgia. They're used at a very low dose, much lower than for depression, and their main benefit is promoting and deepening slow-wave sleep. One particular sublingual formulation of cyclobenzaprine known as Tonmya, was specifically designed to improve sleep quality and was approved by the FDA in 2025 based on phase 3 trials showing it improved pain, sleep, and fatigue. Then there's the gabapentinoids, pregabalin and gabapentin. These meds work by calming down overexcited nerve cells. By doing so, they can reduce pain and anxiety and have been shown to help consolidate sleep and increase slow-wave sleep. Then there's melatonin. While often thought of for just falling asleep, melatonin's role might be more complex in fibromyalgia. Some research suggests a deficit in melatonin production. Supplementation may help improve overall sleep quality. The goal of any medication here shouldn't just be to knock you out. The goal is to specifically use medications known to improve sleep architecture, to suppress the alpha waves and promote the restorative delta waves your body is starving for. That's why benzodiazepines aren't recommended. If this deep dive into the science of fibromyalgia and sleep has hit home, if you see yourself in this vicious cycle, then the most important thing you can do is take action. This knowledge is only powerful if you use it. First, share this with a friend, a family member, a support group, or your physician. So many people are suffering in silence, feeling lost and misunderstood. Your share could be the light bulb moment to help someone else finally understand their condition and see a way forward. Second, for more evidence-based information on chronic conditions and real strategies to help improve your life, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell. Our mission is to empower you with information you can trust. And finally, and most importantly, take this knowledge to your doctor. Print out a summary if you need to. Start a new conversation. Ask them directly, could we focus my treatment on improving my sleep quality? Could we investigate if I have an underlying sleep disorder like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome? What are my options for targeting non-restorative sleep? This isn't about demanding a specific drug, it's about shifting the entire strategy. It's about advocating for yourself with a new, science-backed approach. We started this journey by describing fibromyalgia as a pain volume dial stuck on high. We explored how a hidden sleep disorder robs you of your overnight repair crew. And we uncovered the sinister truth of how that broken sleep actively breaks your brain's pain-dimming switch, manufacturing more pain day after day. Let's end with one final image. Think of the central sensitization of fibromyalgia as a vast dry forest ready to ignite. The daily aches and stresses of life are the tiny sparks landing in the underbrush. In a healthy system, these sparks are easily put out. But in fibromyalgia, fragmented, non-restorative sleep acts like a constant, gusting wind. It whips those small sparks into a raging wildfire of pain, fatigue, and fog that consumes everything. For too long, the focus has been on trying to stomp out every individual spark, an exhausting and impossible task. The new science, the new hope lies in realizing we can change the weather. By focusing on calming that wind, by prioritizing and aggressively treating your sleep disruption, you can create fire breaks. You can help calm the storm. This allows your body's natural firefighting crews to finally get in and do their work. It's not an easy path and it's not a quick fix, but it is a path forward grounded in science. It's a path towards more restorative sleep, and with it, a path toward quieting the alarms and turning down the volume, and finally reclaiming your life from the grip of chronic pain, fatigue, and brain fog.